Hello, I'm Rachel. Welcome to my channel. Today I am going to be showing you how I made some wreaths out of some pine branches that I got from my grandparents' tree. I wanted very simple wreaths this year, and I also didn't want them to look fake, so I made some using an embroidery hoop. Actually, I made two of them, so I made one with a larger embroidery hoop and one with a smaller one to go in my kitchen. And also I am going to, what else am I going to show you? Oh yeah, I'm going to show you how I made some granola, because I love granola at this time of year especially, and it's such a great gift to give to people if they like granola. I might not give this to anyone, I'm just gonna eat it probably, but if you want to make granola for someone, I have a great recipe for you. Also, I am going to make some macrame because my mom got some new plants and she needs them hung up. So the pots she got for them are so pretty too. She got this curly lipstick plant. Oh, it's so adorable. And also I might end up making bath salts. Depends on how the lighting goes today. I already made some and I filmed it, but the lighting was kind of bad. So if I can fix that, or I don't know, maybe I'll make the bath salts in another area of my house that gets more direct sunlight. We'll see. But this month, actually it's for, I guess, just this video, because I got my Sips by box in, of course. I'm not obligated to talk that much about them or whatever. They just sent me a free box of tea, and I have a code in the description box below for you, so that way you can get $5 off of your tea box. I don't get any kickback from it, I just get free tea every month, and it's great because I was trying to find a tea box, subscription box, that I really liked and was going to be something that was going to be new and fresh every month. And this was the only one that I could find that was actually customizable for you. All the other ones were just ones for that specific company and basically just sampler tea boxes. I think the kitten and the puppy are upstairs playing, so if you hear sounds like reindeer on the roof, it's just Gunther. So yeah, let's get to the video and I hope you like it. So all my initial footage of this wreath got corrupted. I changed out my SD card, so everything else is fine at least. But my husband said that this wreath looked bald, and then my son, he didn't like it either. So I am just adding the rest of these pine leaves to cover up everything else. And I think it turned out pretty good. I'm using hot glue because this is on an embroidery hoop, and I didn't think that floral wire would work very good, and then I ended up not even being able to find my floral wire. So I'm doing this in more of a laurel pattern, and it ended up blending really well at the top. I was surprised and so thankful that it worked out. These little brown flowers that you see, those are just the insides of some sunflowers I got from my grandparents' house as well. And then I dried some big regular navel oranges, and they didn't look very good. They just looked weird. And so I went and I dried some clementines, and they looked much better. I'm so much happier with the result of those. So I also went and I took a staple and I just stapled the back of the wooden embroidery hoop so that way it could hang up on my nail better. So I accidentally forgot to press record on my whole recipe thing, but my granola is just 4 cups of oat, a half a cup of oil, a pinch of sea salt, and then you sprinkle some cinnamon over the top and do 1/4 of a cup of honey, 1/4 of a cup of maple syrup, and 1/4 of a cup of coconut sugar. And you want to just stir it every once in a while so that way it's browns evenly. If you have a much bigger pan, that will work better, or do a half batch, but I just do it all in this pan and then I have to check it a few times so that way it browns very evenly. And once your coconut has gotten a really nice golden color, or your almonds are really nice and golden, I love using chia seeds and coconut are my favorite. And then once it's cool, then you can put other things on it. So I made sure that I flattened it all down. That way it will get crunchy when it cools down and you'll get actual chunks of granola. This smaller wreath, I actually made this more all going in one direction like a regular wreath does or whatever. but I still couldn't find my floral wire, so I just used some more hot glue. And it was a little bit more difficult using the hot glue with a smaller embroidery hoop, but I got the hang of it and it ended up turning out really cute. I love it. And I didn't have any more sunflower insides or oranges, so I just made sure that I took the tops of all of my branches so that way it had little tiny starts of pine cones at the tops of them, and that gave it enough texture to it. And then I did end up putting a red ribbon on this to hang it in my kitchen window, but I didn't get footage of that because I did that when it was cloudy and dark. So now that my granola has cooled, I kind of broke it up and I added some cranberries to it. A lot of the times I like to add chocolate chips to my granola too, but usually I will add that just whenever I feel like it. Oh, and here I had the brilliant idea of putting this into more of a pitcher type of a container and using a funnel for once. So I didn't make a huge mess everywhere, which was really nice. And I did already eat some of this. So normally it will almost fill up 2 whole jars, but you know, I ate a big bowl of granola, so I only got 1.5 jars. And I did go ahead and scrape out my pan and made sure to save all that granola. But if you use a Silpat or some parchment paper or wax paper, you might not have to use this step, but it's not really a big deal for me. For my macrame cording, I did 4 arm lengths and I did that 4 times. So I had 4 ropes that were 4 arm lengths for each one of my macrames, and that made it to where I was able to make 2 macrames out of this amount of macrame cording. And I could have done it only in 3 lengths, but I was doing a lot of square knots on this, and that usually takes up a lot of my cord, and I wanted just to make sure that I had enough. But I definitely probably could have gotten away with only doing 3 full arm lengths just because my arm lengths are pretty wide. I put all my ends together and then I found the middles, so that way it was just really easy to go and start with the longest amount of cording that I could. And then I did a lark's head knot on a metal ring. I like to use the metal rings because they fit over the hooks better than wooden rings, in my opinion. I don't know, maybe I just always buy smaller hooks. I don't know. But a lark's head knot is super easy, as you can see. I'll show you the other like square knot in this video as well, but I have other macrame videos that go more into how to actually do this. So I use my toe because I have a little bit of scoliosis, and this is the only way that I can do macrame that doesn't hurt my back. So just enjoy my cute socks that my mom gave me. And I am doing half square knots. They're just going all the way down so that way they make a twisting kind of thing. And then I'm using some full square knots so that way they make a little chain pattern, and I'm just doing 2 of those to break it up a little bit. And then I'm going back and doing half square knots that go the same way as the ones at the top, so that way it still keeps twisting down. So I went and did that on the other side too, so that way they match, of course. And I don't count the amount of knots that I do, I just hold them against each other just to make sure that they are doing their thing. So you can see, to do a square knot, you just make a 4 and then you go under that and then up and through the other side. So you're basically just making a knot, but around 2 pieces of cording, or 1 piece or 4 pieces, however many, whatever kind of big of a knot that you're actually doing. And then to do a full square knot, you just go the opposite way to finish that square knot. But if you want to keep going the same way, then you just keep making that same 4 to go all the way down. For my other macrame that I made, I'm using diagonal clove hitches, and I did this in another video. The light was too bright, so I didn't really get a very good shot of this, so this is all you get. I'm sorry. Okay, so this one, I just finished going along on it, but both of these, I don't know how far down my mom wants them to hang, and this one, I want it to go all the way down with these. So, anyways, I'm going to finish this up at her house later, but I'm just going to tie this like I normally do at the bottom to secure everything, you know. So I'll link to other macrame videos where I've done other macrame stuff in the description. But, so this one is kind of an experiment. I'm going to see if my mom likes it with this weird thing at the bottom. Otherwise, I might do a bead. I don't know. So I did a square knot in the front, and then I did 2 square knots on the sides, and a square knot in the back, and then a square knot in the front. So, because everything was all flared out. And it's just something that I'm trying, and I kind of think that it looks cool. I mean, it doesn't, I don't know, does it look cool, or does it just look awful and weird? I don't know. You guys let me know. And I want them to go to the side, because I want this to be the front, and this to be the sides. And then I want to have all of the plant. I just didn't want it to be too encumbered, so that way it's easy to take the plant pot out and easy to water everything. As I've been using these more and more and making more of them, I am finding out that I like them better when they only have 2 sides on either side. So that way it's just so much easier to take the plant out. And anyways, that's just my thing with these. So a lot of the times your hanging plants, it's hard to, water them when they're in the plant hanger, and then you have to take them out, and then like the Hoya is all crazy up in there. So yeah, anyways, that's all. When I make bath salts, I will typically just fill up my container to see how much volume I need to fill in my container, and then I measure out how many cups it is. These recycled containers that I use, they are like 2 cups basically. So for this recipe, I'm going to tell you in cups. So this is basically a double recipe of what I'm going to tell you, I guess. I fill up my coffee grinder with about 2 tablespoons of rose petals and just blend it up nice and fine, so that way it actually goes down the drain and you don't have to worry about it clogging anything. And I whisk that in. And then I'm going to actually be doing a double amount of calendula from the rose petals, so that way I'm actually getting lots of benefits from the calendula. The calendula really helps with dry skin, or if you have heat rashes or your skin's just irritated, it's very soothing. So that I used about 4 tablespoons in this. If you're making a cup worth, then you use a tablespoon of rose petals and 2 tablespoons of calendula, or you can use more if you feel like it needs more. And I made a big mess. So for this recipe, I am going to use the same amount of bath salts, and then I'm going to be using some clay. This is like a bentonite type of clay, and I eyeball this because I've made it enough times, but typically you want to do about 2 tablespoons per cup, or you can do just like 1 tablespoon if you don't want that much clay. I like a lot, and so I'm using 2 tablespoons worth. I whisk that in really good so that way the clay does not clump up in my bath. So here you can see the difference between regular Epsom salt and then when I add the clay in, I add in a lot. You do not have to add in that much. Here I'm using these powdered herbs that they're nice and sealed so they stay really fresh. This is sage, thyme, and helichrysum. They're just some ones that my mom gave me, and I really like to use them in masks and in my bath because they're soothing and detoxifying. And now I'm just using a couple of different essential oils that I've been really enjoying this time of season. Or this time of year, whatever. These containers are actually back bar sizes of conditioner from my mom's salon, and they're perfect size for candles too. So I hope you had fun watching this video or found it interesting, or I don't know. I like to try to make my videos more relaxing and on the calmer side, but still fun. I don't know. I think that I'm getting pretty good at that, but anyways, I love making videos. They're so much fun. I will talk to you later. Bye!